A high-stakes prisoner swap between the US and Russia. At Moscow's Vnukovo International Airport, two planes faced each other. One plane had the US flag, the other had the Russian flag. Two people walked towards each other for the exchange. Evan Gershkovich, an American journalist, was arrested in Russia for spying. Paul Whelan, a former US Marine, was also in a Russian prison for spying. Their release depended on this deal between the two countries.
Evan Gershkovich, a young and ambitious reporter for the Wall Street Journal, had arrived in Russia with a simple mission: to report on the country's turbulent political landscape. Armed with his press credentials and a thirst for truth, he had no idea he was stepping into a lion's den. His arrest on charges of espionage sent shockwaves through the global journalistic community. The Kremlin accused Gershkovich of being more than just a journalist, alleging he was a spy operating undercover. The evidence, they claimed, was irrefutable. But to his colleagues, his friends, and the wider world, the charges were nothing short of absurd. Gershkovich, they argued, was a victim of a politically motivated prosecution, a pawn in a larger game of geopolitical chess. His detention, they warned, was a chilling message to foreign journalists: report on Russia at your peril.
Paul Whelan, a former US Marine, had traveled to Russia for a friend's wedding, unaware that he was stepping into a nightmare. Detained in 2018 and accused of espionage, Whelan vehemently maintained his innocence, his claims bolstered by US officials who denounced his arrest as a politically motivated fabrication. Years turned into a grueling ordeal as he languished in a Russian prison, his fate hanging in the balance. Whelan's case became a rallying cry for the US government, a stark reminder of the human cost of deteriorating relations between Washington and Moscow. His family, tireless in their fight for his release, became outspoken advocates, urging the Biden administration to do everything in its power to bring him home. His plight, they argued, was a testament to the arbitrary and unjust nature of the Russian legal system, a system that seemed more interested in settling political scores than dispensing justice.
Section 4. Biden's Gamble. The Diplomatic Push for Freedom. Faced with the daunting task of securing the release of two Americans wrongfully detained in Russia, President Biden knew he had to act decisively. The stakes were high, the pressure immense. The negotiations were shrouded in secrecy, a delicate dance on a geopolitical tightrope. Every move was calculated, every word weighed carefully. Failure was not an option. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, a seasoned diplomat known for his cool head and strategic acumen, spearheaded the effort. He engaged in a flurry of phone calls and back-channel discussions with his Russian counterparts, each conversation a high-wire act with the fate of two lives hanging in the balance. The negotiations were fraught with tension, a battle of wills between two adversaries locked in a geopolitical standoff.
Section 5. The Price of Freedom, Vadim Krasikov and the Uneven Exchange. As the negotiations dragged on, it became clear that Russia was not going to release Gershkovich and Whelan without something substantial in return. The Kremlin's price, it turned out, was steep. Vadim Krasikov, a Russian national serving a life sentence in Germany for murder, a crime with chilling links to the Kremlin. The demand for Krasikov's release put the Biden administration in a bind. Agreeing to it would be seen by some as bowing to the demands of a ruthless dictator, a betrayal of American values. But refusing could mean condemning Gershkovich and Whelan to years more, perhaps even a lifetime behind bars. It was a moral dilemma with no easy answers, a stark reminder of the complexities and compromises inherent in international diplomacy.
Section 6. A chilling message. The future of press freedom in a divided world. The release of Gershkovich and Whelan, while a cause for celebration and relief, does not erase the underlying tensions that led to their detention in the first place. Russia's willingness to use journalists and former military personnel as pawns in a geopolitical game paints a bleak picture of the state of press freedom and the rule of law in the country. The message from Moscow is clear. Report on Russia at your own risk. This chilling message sends a ripple effect through the global journalistic community, raising questions about the safety and security of reporters working in increasingly hostile environments. It also underscores the fragility of international norms and the growing threat posed by authoritarian regimes to democratic values. the fight for press freedom, it seems, is far from over.
As a commentator, I urge everyone to stay informed and support press freedom initiatives. The safety of journalists is paramount, and we must stand together to protect the truth.